Islam, Moors, peace, love, and hotep. This is Canaanland Moors class, the 18th of March 2014. Today's class is, what do you want me to do? Kill you? Because that's what Noble Drew Ali said. And we're starting to see, people taking that message that the noble prophet put out there serious. Because if you didn't know, there's Moors all over the world coming into this age with wanting and willing to take some time and digest what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought for the nation. We've keep your ear to the street, because FBI right now is clamping down on all these fake paper seller people, right? Word on the street is that individuals who are playing a game like sell paperwork to people, right, under the guise of Moorish movement, Moorish whatever, indigenous and all this type of stuff, right? A lot of these people are getting their doors knocked and doors kicked off and stuff like that by FBI right now. Right? Consider that. Consider that we already put it out there ample amount of times about all these so-called black, whatever groups and all that are under 24-hour surveillance under King Alfred plan. 24-hour surveillance, right? It's not a joke right now. That's why class was entitled, what do you want me to do? Kill you. Because that's the most, don't forget, Noble Drew Ali is the love thought of Allah. And he's talking about killing some people. Because why? Because he brought them their nationality, their religion, and their title to their vast estate. But they don't want that. They don't want that. They want all these other people's little benefits, tax benefits, go file some paper, get some fiat from some dead entity and filing this and filing that and doing all these things. And when you ask them some simple stuff about Noble Drew Ali, they don't know. They can't answer because, they think that has nothing to do with them. Well, it has absolutely everything to do with you, all right? Absolutely everything to do with you. So we start. Now remember, we put it out there a little while ago. We're gonna put it out there again, right? If you are a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you need to go to your grand whoever that's the head of your temple and ask them about the Mukarrabin files and that you want a copy of it, right? They should be forthcoming with it because every temple head is supposed to have this right here. Every temple head. If they ain't forthcoming with it, maybe they don't have it, but I think it's a little deeper than that, right? Now, we're gonna go through some um, articles that were in the Moorish Guide newspaper, right? All this is in the Mukarrabin files, okay? And when we go through some of these articles right here, right, you'll be surprised about how much stuff was actually going out there from the Moors for the people to know where the position of the Moorish movement was, right? So we'll start. We'll start with the Testimonials page. Now, the Testimonials page is based on Noble Drew Ali's remedies, right? That were being manufactured by the Moorish Manufacturing Company. Moorish Manufacturing Company, right? The ad reads, health and happiness prolongs life. Moorish bodybuilder and blood purifier. For men, women, and children. Beneficial for rheumatism, lung trouble, rundown constitutions, indigestion, and loss of manhood. Price, 50 cents. Moorish mineral and healing oil. Moorish antiseptic bath compound. Beneficial for dandruff, rheumatism, stiff joints, tired and sore feet. Also skin troubles when used as a face wash. Prepared only by the Moorish Manufacturing Corporation, Noble Drew Ali founder. Testimonials to the Moorish mineral and healing oil. I have been suffering for some time with my throat, and I used everything that I knew of. Finally, I heard of the Moorish mineral and healing oil. Then I purchased one bottle and used it according to direction, and now I feel like a young girl. Yours truly, Miss Beatrice Bird, B-Y-R-D. Right? We don't know if she was a member of the temple. We don't know if she was just a lady that was in Chicago, because when we look through this these clippings right here, for example, we see that M. Wharton Bay, Wharton, had a Moorish express and furniture house, right? We see H. Geo Davenport, commercial land advertising, illustrating, designing, cartooning. Luke A. Aitman, the Tuskegee idea, techniques and skill, plumbing and heating, contractor. Claude Green, real estate. Chicago Meat Company, wholesale and retail meats. Herbert Semino, job printing, right? So there was all these, ads and things of that nature, right? So Miss Beatrice Bird had problem with her throat. She took the Prophet's Moorish mineral and healing oil, and she felt like a young girl after taking it, right? For all these Noble Drew Ali haters out there who gonna go on their little debates and talk BS about Noble Drew Ali and, oh well, he died of this and that, and how could he have mineral? Well, we got the testimonials right here. What people want to do with them, that's their business. But individuals who recognize Noble Drew Ali for what he did, right, appreciate people like Miss Beatrice Bird for being honest and putting her testimony in the paper, right? Because it just like any other paper out there, when they got testimonials and obituaries, nobody's sitting there judging them, talking about, oh, that's probably fake, and or where they get that information from, right? They go with it because it's public record, right? to the Moorish mineral and healing oil. I have been suffering with my lungs for more than 7 years. Nothing seemed to do me any good until using one bottle of the Moorish mineral and healing oil. Now I feel like a new woman, and every woman needs to use this wonderful healing oil. Yours truly, Miss Estella Woodson. And then she put her address so you could, go do some research if you're in Chicago or you know people over there. Just go see if the address is legit. 15 West 26th Place, Chicago, Illinois. And this was July 29th, 1927. 2953 Wentworth Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, July 28, 1927. Dear friends, I have suffered with the rheumatism for some considerable time and used everything that I heard of and did not find any relief until using the Moorish mineral and healing oil. Before using this oil, I could not do any housework. Now I could not find any relief until using the Moorish mineral and healing oil. Before using this oil, I could not do my housework, but now I am able to do all of my housework. Yours truly, Miss Carrie. I have been sick for 12 years with bronchial asthma of the upper larynx. I have had 9 different doctors in various states, and I used every drugstore medicine I heard of, and I am now well from using the applications and medicines from the Divine Prophet, and I feel as well as I ever felt before. I hope this may be some good to anyone that is suffering with any kind of disease. If you are sick, use the Moorish treatments and get well. I am yours sincerely, Brother Luke Bell Bay, age 50 years, address 455 Vorde Street, Vorde Street, Detroit, Michigan. Oh, so these are Moors somewhere else, writing to the one national paper, which is what Grand Chief Nature was trying to get Moors to do, right? When he resurrected the Moorish Guide newspaper. And they still got stacks and stacks and stacks, like we talk about, of the Moorish Guide newspaper or newspapers, different ones that they went broke putting out bundles, getting 10,000 newspapers, 5,000 newspapers or whatever, and $60 a bundle, and Moors they ain't supporting, right? And we want to know how come the Moorish movement, nothing's happening with the Moorish movement and all that. Stuff's happening because, believe me, Canaanland Moor got some bundles, right? We got ours. I don't know who didn't support, but we supported and got ours, right? And to reach Grand Chief Nature El Bay and the Moors in Asbury Park, you go to moorishguideposts.com. That's their website, and they got stuff on there just like all the other Moorish websites that we promote. That's one that we're going to start putting out there more. moorishguideposts.com. And go on to YouTube. Brother Divine El Bay posts all Grand Chief Nature El Bay's classes, Skype lectures, and other stuff that they do. All right. 3803 Federal Street, Chicago, Illinois, July 30th. Oh, and I just saw some people just come in, so just so you know what I'm reading the Mukarrabin Files, an answer to the 45th question by Richard Edwards L. All right? Okay? Mukarrabin Files. Go ask your Grand Chief, whoever it is, that the head of whatever, that Moorish, whatever you belong to. This should be in their possession so you can get your own copy. And if they don't have it, like I said, might not mean that they're evil beings or that they're, dirty and they're trying to undermine something. Maybe they just don't have it, right? But it is something that should be available to any Moorish American in any Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine National Movement, Great Seal Association of Moorish Affairs, Moorish Science Temple of America, whatever they call themselves. Once they say Noble Drew Ali up front and they have the Prophet, they should have the Mukarrabin Files for you. All right? 3803 Federal Street, Chicago, Illinois, July 30th, 1927. Dear friends, I was all swollen in my stomach, and the doctors had given me up. But I used the Moorish mineral and healing oil and bath compound for 3 days, and I was up and working. Yours truly, Miss Jackson. 3833 Federal Street. So this is just down the street from Miss Jackson's house. Another lady, she submitted something to the Moorish Guide with regard to her testimonial about the Moorish mineral oil. Dear friends, I have been suffering with a continual pain in my left side for several years, and I have tried all kinds of medicines. But later, I came to the conclusion that I would try the Moorish bodybuilder and blood purifying tonic. After I had used one package, I was able to work. Right? So, and then keep in mind, all these people are talking about they weren't doing whatever, they were sick, and now they're able to go back to work. Right? 3565 South LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. Dear gentlemen, I am glad to say that I have been suffering with the indigestion for some time, and nothing seemed to do me any good until the usage of the Moorish mineral healing oil. The doctor said that I had to have an operation, but all praises to the Prophet, Noble Jew Ali. I am doing all of my domestic housework now. Yours truly, Miss Channy. I have been suffering with swelling in my knees and legs for 4 years. No doctor could do me any good. So when I heard of the Moorish treatment, I tried it. Now I am well. Thanks be to God. Miss Sarah Brown L. 1317 Woodland Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. The Moorish Manufacturing Corporation, I. Chase Johnson, has been suffering for the last 2 years with rheumatism, so that I could not work. But thanks be to God, now that I am well after the use of 2 full treatments of the Moorish bath compound, oils, and tonics. 3603 LaSalle Street, South LaSalle Street, right? To the Moorish Manufacturing Company. After being sick for a long time, trying and buying everything that have benefited me and helped me in my condition, but I received no relief. After using the Moorish bath compound and mineral healing oil and blood purifying tonic, my health has improved. Burgess Bay, 3625 Indiana Avenue. Correspondence. 817 South Broad Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, September 3rd, 1928. To the Moorish Guide. Dear brothers, I beg leave to submit the following news items for your correction and publication. The Prophet and his staff of sheikhs made a visit to Philadelphia on the 31st of July and set aside the Moorish Science Temple number 11 on the evening of the 3rd of August after the public meeting. The public meeting was well attended by people from representatives of all classes from all over the city. The Prophet delivered a strong message, and it gave the people of Philadelphia much to think about. Our temple has decided to establish an emergency fund, and each brother agreed to pay in $10 by the 1st of October, and each sister agreed to pay $5 by the said time. This was done that we might be able to establish a place of business of some kind in the near future, so that we will be able to employ more of our young men and girls. Quite a number of our members are aiming to go to Chicago to the Grand Convention, October 15th. We are hoping to have the Prophet with us before time for the convention, as there are many who desire to learn the mysteries of their forefathers by way of the attic chamber. T. Thompson L. Right? These Moors were no joke. Moors were no joke. People might take them for a joke, but the Moors, right, that were coming into the movement during the Prophet's time, now not the Moors that were in it, the Moors that were coming into the movement were no joke, because they realized something, right? Service dedicated to Alderman L.B. Anderson. Make sure you go look him up. Alderman L.B. Anderson. Let me serve a friend or brother while my part in life I play. Though unknown to me, my neighbor, let me serve him without delay. Let my service bring me pleasure when I give a helping hand. Let me build on earth a treasure through service to my fellow man. Though I hold in life a station that seems low and too obscure, may I have the consolation that when serving I endure. Though I rise to fame and honor far above the common sense, never let there come an hour bidding service and I pass. Let my service bring me glory. In it, let me find reward. On every page of my life story, service, let me there record. Never let me faint nor falter. When the call to serve has come, let each day that makes me older find at its close a service done. When I finish my life story and into the great unknown must pass, may my service be the glory. From it write my epitaph. Richard H. Ross. Article again. Moorish Guide. It is not unusual for a newspaper to make its debut in the city of Chicago. The past years have seen many such come and many such go. The Moorish Guide, making its initial bow to the public, knows not what the future awaits it. But throwing its efforts on the sides of right, reason, and tolerance, we hope that we might make the grade. The Moorish Guide enters the field of journalism with malice toward none and charity to all. It is not our purpose to disregard the work of other splendid journals. It is not our purpose to fail to give due attention and space to all American citizens, individuals, and organizations alike, who are working in their chosen fields of endeavor for the progress and development of all American citizens and all American institutions. We hope to cooperate with them in the intensive and grueling battle for universal justice. The Moorish Guide feels that the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today in America is our press. The Moorish Guide feels that the greatest weapon, right? All these Moors talking about, the Constitution, bear arms, and all this type of stuff. Those ain't no weapons. You want some weapons? You want some tools of the trade to stop all this madness that's going on? Put out some literature like the Moors and Khalifa are doing. Now you got their book out there on Amazon.com, Moors in America. Right? Bet you. We've been promoting the book for about a week or so. Bet you. If I call up Sister Alzar right now, or Brother Taylor Ill right now, they're not gonna say but maybe 20 of them books sold. Right? But Moors got fiat to go put in pyramid schemes to try to make $50 million or whatever, but they can't even go support their own Moorish brothers and sisters that are actually doing something, right? RVB got all them books out there. Everybody who says that they're Moor should have every single book on RVB publications. Every book. It's only $15, $10, $7 for the book, right? The greatest weapon in the hands of the Moors is our press. Our press is our ability to tell our own story. And Grand Sheikh Dawood Ali El taught us that. Grand Sheikh Dawood Ali El taught us that the greatest power that we have as Moors is the power of definition. Because when we can define things for ourselves, and I'm not talking about fake definition like, saying that, black is really an identity and trying to make people believe that, right? We're talking about actually using what Noble Drew Ali brought us, right? Making sure our neural pathways in our mind are not dead ends, resurrecting the ancient mindset of our foremothers and forefathers and putting out what needs to be put out. For example, right? For example, this is the power of our press. This is how our press deals with people's cases. There's these brothers out here, right? Nation of Islam brothers, right? That's always handing out this Black History pamphlet. They probably had the same pamphlet ever since I was Black Power. They had the same pamphlet. There's Black History on it. You got some pictures of some people. Then you open up, talks about Black inventors and bullcrap, right? So see one of the brothers yesterday, the day before, right? See one of the brothers. What's up? Peace and love. Yeah, brother. We got it. I'm like, sorry, man. I don't support the black stuff. I ain't giving. But if you want to barter, we can barter. We'll trade something, right? But it's like, well, we got donations and whatever. I ain't giving you no donations for no black stuff. Well, you're not black. Well, I'm trying to go home right now. I have no time to discuss this with you. But how about this? Back. Here's a Moorish Guide newspaper. All right, thanks, brother. I'll take a look at this. And then he handed me something. Right? I'm like, cool, all right. Since we bartered, I'm gonna go on the train and read this. When I go on the train, the thing that he gave me was a flyer about Farrakhan having some type of 51 classes or something like that he's gonna be doing or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And the little booklet that they're handing out, that we were supposed to be bartering with, right? He didn't give me that. He gave me some flyer, a one-page thing, when I gave him a newspaper, right? That's the level, right? Who cares what he did with it? Personally, I don't care. It's not my business because once it left my hands, it's his possession for him to do whatever, right? But the point being that when Moors start stepping up and doing things, you're going to realize that people are going to start undermining what you're doing. When the Moors start stepping up and taking a position of, we know who Noble Drew Ali is, we know who the Prophet is, right? We know that this land is Morocco, right? We know that the greatest weapon that we have in our group today is our press, right? Speaking about that, big up to an Islam to brother Rami Salam Il, who, another Moor, California again, right? Started up a little newsletter, right? Sending out a newsletter, PDF or whatever it is. Why? Because Noble Drew Ali said the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today is our press. And if Moors aren't putting out information, if Moors aren't writing writs, Islam to brother Battle Bay, who got his writs up and he's sending them out, right? Why? Because the greatest weapon that we got is our ability to put our whatever we got here on paper and then do something with after that. Islam to brother Lanre Bay, who's putting out videos about all his court cases. Before even court comes, before even court starts, he's putting up videos before his trial, right? Why is he doing that for? Because we're not going to go to these courts or whatever and go fight these people in their courts. The greatest weapon that we have is our press. What's our press? Our press is anything that we put up, whether it's audio, visual, literary, whatever. Once you put your free national name on that, once you put your free national name on something, that becomes a record. That becomes a record. And the only people that have any jurisdiction in Morocco are the Moors to do anything with regard to papers or whatever. Everybody else is doing it because they're stealing Negro, black, colored people's birthright. Right? But once Moors get into the, it's like Moors always, like when Moors will call me or whatever, right? Moors will call me, oh yeah, you know what I mean? I've been watching your videos and I've been watching Taj and I've been watching Raz and I've been going on the website and I've been whatever, whatever. So you're going to do some classes? Well, you know, I don't think I'm ready yet because, you know, I'm still trying to learn. You know, once you know that you're not Negro, black, colored, you're more, you better start putting out some stuff. Whether it's typing up something, putting over Jolly's picture, type up something on it, giving that out to people on the street. Don't think that you need some temple or some whatever to exercise your birthright, right? We're not talking about going out there and doing crazy stuff and getting yourself in trouble. We're talking about the Moorish guide feels that the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today in America is our press. And our press, our press, not all those people out there's press, our press. Our press is going to come from us, right? Our activity in the arena of producing publications, it's what's going to wake up these people out here. Why do you think so much people call Canaanland from all over the world? Because there's 500 videos on YouTube. Like, that's why. Because that's where people are going. And, you know, I tag everything Moorish on Canaanland Moors. So who knows what they're going to look up. Once they put Moors or Moorish or whatever, at least one video from Canaanland is going to come up. And believe me, everybody who calls me, right, first thing that they, damn, you actually answered the phone. Like, I'm surprised you answered the phone. I called all these other Moors around here, and I've been leaving messages for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Ain't nobody calling me back or whatever, right? So the power, remember, the greatest weapon is our press, right? I'm putting it out there so much because that's really where the power is. That's how we're going to change these people out here. We're not going to change these people out here by having some conversation with them. We're going to change these people out here by making them go on the internet on their phone and pull up something and read it. That's how these people are going to wake up out here, right? We're going to change the condition of these people out here when, you know, like brother Tallahassee Al-Bay, Islam to another active Moor. No matter where he's at, on the bus, going in a store, standing in line, whatever. He always got something to give somebody. Always has something. Always. Half a sheet, quarter of a sheet, full sheet, booklet, newspaper, a book, a DVD, whatever. He always has something to put something in their hand to tell them, here, learn the truth about your nationality and birthrights. What's that? Don't worry about what that is. I just gave you something. Go read that. And the person is going to take a position. Either they're going to go read it or they're going to be like, forget this guy, throw it in the garbage, whatever. But like we say, once it leaves our possession, you're on your own. Hands are clean because we did our job, right? The truth will never be told about a disadvantaged minority by the general press of any country, whether that minority be racial, political, or religious, unless we express ourselves through papers of our own. The truth about us will never be told. Unless we express ourselves through papers of our own, the truth about us will not be told. Many of our accomplishments, many of the beautiful things, many of the hopeful things, and the events which mark the progress of our group would go unrecorded were it not for papers of our own. So he's putting it all out there for the Moors to take their place, right? Because these are laws. Everything Noble Drawley said is spirit, so Moors better heed. Everything that he said is spirit, so more is better heed. Some Moors don't want to heed, and that's cool. Comes back to the same thing, Noble Drew Ali did his work. If you don't want it, hey, go do your thing. Take off your turban and fez. Go back to that nigger stuff that you've been involved in that didn't get you anywhere anyways. Right? So we don't got nothing to lose by taking a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, a year, or whatever, studying what Noble Drew Ali brought. Nothing to lose at all. Because we don't got nothing. Right? There has been no progress for our people under these slave brands. Nothing. And we're not talking about the people who are in entertainment industry or whatever like that, sports people, politicians and all these people. Forget all them people. Because half of them took a check. Right? Common people that we see every day. Right? Zero progress. Why? Because nobody schooled them on who their prophet is. Why? Because half of them people that they're following sold out the prophet. Severely sold out the prophet. And they're trying to convince people, that Moors don't know what they're talking about. Let's finish this thing right here first, because it's bad up some people. Many of our accomplishments, many of the beautiful things, many of the hopeful things, and the events which mark the progress of our group would go unrecorded were it not for papers of our own. Our papers are our only hope of shoveling ourselves out from under the avalanche of lies that are annually let loose upon us. Our papers are our only hope of shoveling ourselves out from under the avalanche of lies that are annually let loose upon us. Right? Annually let loose upon us. Isn't it our people, the same ones that complain that Europeans stole all our stuff? The Europeans lying, saying that we didn't do nothing for culture and that we were savages and we came from the downtrodden, whatever, and all we're good for is to work for them and all this type of stuff. All those are lies. Right? But what do? We take those same slave labels and then put out information with those slave labels in it, trying to inspire people. No different than the forerunner talking about he's going to be improving the Negro, right, with his universal association. You ain't improving no Negro. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care what plan you say that you got. You're not improving a Negro. It ain't happening. It never will happen. But Marcus Garvey had a newspaper. Why do you have a newspaper? Oh, because he studied from Deuce Muhammad Ali, who had a newspaper. Right? Why did Deuce Muhammad Ali have a newspaper? To get the people the truth about who they are. And then if you check the record as well, make sure you put a picture of Marcus Garvey next to Deuce Muhammad Ali and see how look-alike those two people look. And just let your mind run on these two individuals that work together that look like each other. Right? And then Deuce Muhammad Ali wearing a fez. And Marcus Garvey wearing the graduation cap. And Deuce Muhammad Ali recognizing that he's a Sudanese Moor, right? And that he was a teacher and a scholar. That's why they called him Bey Effendi. And Marcus Garvey used to work for his newspaper before he even came into who he was. So forget all this crap people are talking about Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey didn't know nothing about Moors. He worked with Deuce Muhammad Ali in Deuce Muhammad Ali's newspaper. So you can't tell me that Noble Drew Ali, that Marcus Garvey didn't learn about Moors, Moorish history, etc. Had to. There's no way that he's going to be around Deuce Muhammad Ali and not hear nothing about Moors when this man wears a fez everywhere that he goes. Why? Because that's his national headwear. right? A strong free press is the best possible safeguard of the liberties and general promotion and defense of the interests of a strong free people. Oh, so Noble Drew Ali is referring to free people. He's not talking about slaves. He's not talking about, shadow property people. A strong free press is the best possible safeguard. Safeguard, a shield, right? Safeguard, bulletproof. The best possible safeguard of the liberties. Oh yeah, but Noble Drew Ali didn't teach anything about law, but he's talking about safeguard liberties. Not safeguard fiat, not safeguard gold and silver, not safeguard, whatever we think that, is important. Safeguard liberties. A free press will help you safeguard liberties, right? And general promotion and defense of the interests of a strong free people, right? When we start taking Noble Drew Ali serious, right? When we start taking Noble Drew Ali serious, we will see the greatness that he exuded and wanted us to get on board with, right? Only when we take Noble Drew Ali serious. If we keep listening to these clown-ass niggers out here, right, getting people's property stolen, getting people's, people losing their vehicles because they filed some paper or whatever with some state that's dissolved, right? We're listening to them talk shit about the Prophet, right? And they put out videos, dissing Noble Drew Ali or whatever, and new Moors aren't saying nothing. New Moors are in the freaking stands, oohing and eyeing when these niggers are talking, right? When the position of anybody, that recognizes the prophethood of Noble Drew Ali is to stand up to these freaking jokers who are dissing your prophet. That's why I do, you already know. You already know. Put it out there already that we don't do debates, right? But when people in this jurisdiction are gonna go call some loser from some other jurisdiction to come here and do lectures, and they're gonna go call all these holistic whatever people from all over the country or whatever. Yeah, come on to Canaanland or whatever. When there's people in Canaanland who's been doing holistic work just as long as these people that they're calling, and they're not calling them when they know them personally, but they're gonna go call some stranger to come here to teach about something that we already have people here that's been doing this. That's blatant disrespect. That's slapping people's faces who's been working out here, right? And I'll be damned if I let some nigger named Ali Muhammad come up here and do some lecture, right? No different than Nanya Shabu El and all these other jokers that we give a forum, come say something, you know what I mean? Because you got some information. And then when they come and they say something, they're dissing people, you know what I mean? Trying to make it look like Canaanland Moors, ain't know what they're talking about, and, we don't know the law and all this type of stuff like that. And then people are listening to them people, all them days are over. Telling y'all. Right? And secondly, have these individuals that talk bad about Noble Drew Ali, they used to study him. Right? Ali Muhammad's not going to tell you. Ali Muhammad's not going to tell you, right, that it was Grand Sheikh Nature El Bey and Taj Tariq Bey that sat his ass down and schooled him on law when he was trying to be ambassador of the Nation of Islam nation and dumb shit like that. He's not going to tell you that. He's not going to tell you that it was at Pearl of Africa, right? And then don't forget, the owner passed away of Pearl of Africa already, right? So it's probably not even there no more. But when Pearl of Africa was going on, and Moors and black guys and all these guys were going there, do their classes, do their lectures, and all this type of stuff, it was there where Ali Muhammad got schooled by Nature El Bey about how you're going to talk about your ambassador of some organization and you calling it a nation. But they're not going to talk about that stuff, right? They're not going to talk about the direct connection that they have with Noble Drew Ali, right? No different than, you got Buddy, New Covenant, right? Polite and all these jokers. And, oh, yeah, Malachi York, and he's the man, and I'm going to follow him. Oh, well, what happened to Malachi York, right? They bulldozed all his shit that he built. How come? Why you do that for? You think they just did that because they're mad at him for building pyramids in Atlanta? No, they did that because he's a fraud. Because how are you going to talk about your Black Eagle and you're indigenous and all this type of stuff, but then you have credit cards from Capital One or whatever in the name Malachi York with no L on it, with no all rights reserved on them. All this stuff's online. Don't forget the case is public record. All this stuff is online. Right? Just go Google images and Malachi York credit cards, and all the credit cards will come up that they got on him with no all rights reserved. And he's talking about he's sovereign somebody. He ain't sovereign nothing. He's a faker. He's an R&B singer. Lipstick wearing R&B singer. Perm wearing, lipstick wearing, bow tie R&B singer. Talking about he's coming to save some people out here. And then people are following him. Y'all crazy. If you let these people try to undermine what Noble Drew Ali did. That's why we call it today. What do you want him to do? Kill you? What do you want him to do? He brought you everything that it takes to save a nation. Told you take it and save yourself. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to go talk to some guy who said go file some paper somewhere. When Noble Drew Ali said he brought you everything. Right? T. Crumby Bay. Freed of charges. There's another article. Moorish guy, newspaper. Right? T. Crumby Bay. Pittsburgh disciple of the Prophet, Drew Ali, and Grand Governor of Moorish Temple of Science, 1709 Arcena Street, Arcena Street, who got in wrong with police, first by promising his Moorish congregation all the wives you want for $10. Second, for selling potions for what ails you, and third, on charges made by his wife against him and one of his female parishioners wound up his legal affairs yesterday in criminal court. A vindication is the way the Bey expressed what happened in court. He has been arraigned for trial on his new wife's charges, along with Anna Mae Johnson, his co-defendant. His attorney, Albert Martin, whom he had retained on a yearly contract to fight all the legal battles incident to the operation of his congregation, was ready with the defense. District Attorney Samuel L. Gardner, so make sure you go check out these names or whatever so you could know if they're legit or if Moore's talking shit or whatever, right? Samuel H. Gardner, Gardner, was ready with the prosecution, but no witnesses showed up, and the wife, Mrs. Nine Crumby of Blythedale, Pennsylvania, apparently had vanished with her 6 children. The case was thrown out on motion of the district attorney, and the Bey was free to go back to his congregation, his legal tilts for the time being over. When arraigned last June before Magistrate A.B. Brandon, Branden, in Morrow's court, the Bey vehemently denied his wife's charge. It is contrary to the principles of my faith to be unfaithful to my wife, he said. Right? Moorish cafeteria service wins praise at Elks Grand Lodge General Headquarters. The fine and wholesome food served at Unity Hall, Elks Grand Lodge General Headquarters, to hosts of delegates and visiting friends during the 29th annual convention by the Moorish cafeteria service received the highest praise on every hand. The entire dining service was handled by members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Also, we also had cafeteria service during Noble Drawley's time, where Moors were being hired to go to and then do your research on the Elks Grand Lodge, right? So people that were so-called lodges were hiring Moors to do their catering, which means that there was actually Moorish business going on during Noble Drew Ali's time. This wasn't some little corner of Moors calling themselves Moorish Science Temple, and then we're just over here in the corner and we're not doing anything with regard to being out there for the people to see who we are, hiding behind profile pictures and stuff like that, talking about your El Bay or whatever, and you ain't even been in the community, right? Front. The entire dining service was handled by members of the Moorish Science Temple of America under the personal improvisation of Miss Pearl Jones Ali and Miss Catherine Wilson, both of whom proved amiable and charming matrons. Not one single incident marred the splendid service rendered by the Moorish cafeteria service. Hosts of friends were made on every hand between the members of the temple and the delegates and visiting friends. It was an enjoyable occasion for all. Prophet Noble Drew Ali visited the grill rooms often during the convention and meal hour and expressed himself as being highly pleased with the splendid way his members handled the notable affair. All the members of Executive Grand Lodge Entertainment Committee, including Distinguished Chairman Alderman Louis B. Anderson, had nothing but words of praise for the fine service rendered by the Moorish cafeteria service. It was one of the most beautiful examples of unity and service combined ever witnessed at Unity Hall, and the Moorish Science Temple of America is heartily congratulated. Constant praise, right? History defined by Varnum Bay. History may be defined in a general way as the record of the life of mankind. It is the rise and progress of those famous people whose doings contribute the history of civilization. In this, its proper and highest science, history presupposes the nations of the world advance beyond the natural or primitive state, and to these belong our great leader Muhammad, directed by our Father God Allah. Respecting mankind outside of nations, there is much interesting and valuable knowledge supplied by various sciences. By the aid of these sciences, much is now known regarding mankind's customs, manners, languages, arts, and religions, which bring us back to our Father Allah and the Muslim religion. Miss Varnum Bay entertains. During the Elks Convention, Mr. and Mrs. Varnum Bay were host to Mr. and Mrs. James B. Brown, 1378 Catherine Street, Detroit, Michigan. Also, Mrs. Binge and Mrs. Mitchell, both of Jamaica, New York. Prominent Canadians attend Elk and National Hairdressers Convention. Dr. Oscar and Madame Leona Bruton of Toronto, Canada, attended the Elks Convention. Dr. Bruton is prominent in Elkdom in Toronto, also in church and civic work. They remained for the joint convention of the National Hairdressers and Cosmeticians League and the National Beauty Culturist League, of which Madame Bruton is a prominent member and a tireless worker. Madame Bruton is the proprietor of one of the finest beauty shops in Toronto, and like her distinguished husband, has a large and lucrative patronage. Among Dr. Bruton's old schoolmates who were on hand to greet him and review escapades of their school days at Tuskegee were the following well-known Chicagoans: State Representative George W. Blackwell, Dr. Henry M. Higgins, Mr. Luke Aylman, Dr. Agnes Atman Green, Mr. Chauncey L. Jenkins, and Claude D. Green. See all the stuff these people are hiding from you about Noble Drew Ali and what the Moors were doing during the time of the Prophet, right? All these things right here going on during the time of the Prophet, and people trying to pretend like, you know, the Moors weren't doing anything. You know, the Moors were, you know, under FBI investigation and all this type of stuff. You don't want to get down with them. When we had Moorish manufacturing, we had Moorish cafeteria service, right? Some of the Moors, prominent Moors, right, were in attendance at different national conventions going on all over the place. Moors getting freed off charges, right? All this stuff going on, and only because of these sellout, all these sellout leaders, right? All these sellout leaders, right? All these sellout leaders. Only because of them is why 2014 we're just finding out about Moorish Guide National Edition from September 14th, 1928. We're just finding out about this. When this is public record. That's supposed to be out there still. That's why, once again, we're going to big up Grand Sheep Natural Bay and the Moors in Asbury Park for taking the position of taking all these documented articles and putting them on the wall at their temple. There are no pictures of, you know, orishas and foolishness, right? They got pictures, blown up pictures of Moorish Guide newspaper articles on the wall so people could see and read and recognize that the scope of the Moorish movement was broad during Noble Drew Ali's time. Don't be fooled by these people trying to convince you that the Moors during Noble Drew Ali's time was this group of 25 people in some temple over here. These were state people, state to state to state to state to state to state. There were Moors, active Moors, not just some passive people, right? Active Moors, right? Let's go again to Moorish Guide, right? Congratulated. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Grand Temple, 3140 India Avenue. Their prophet, not their Noble Drew Ali or their Mr. Ali or their prophet. This is how people recognize him. This is somebody outside of the temple writing to the Moorish Guide, right? Congratulating the prophet, not Mr. Drew, Timothy Drew, and all of that crap right there. The prophet. And Moors don't even want to recognize their own prophet. And there's people who's outside of the temple recognizing the prophet as the prophet. Dear Prophet, Islam. Not only are they dear profiting, but they're also Islamic, right? Please accept my congratulations upon your Moorish Guide paper. You are doing a great work with your organization, and I am sure the possession of your own newspaper will serve to increase your organization's growth. You have a splendid paper, and I am sure it will also grow. Hoping you a great success. I am yours truly, George W. Blackwell, State Representative. Make sure you go look up George W. Blackwell, State Representative, because he knew about the prophet. So if this state representative knew about the prophet, how much other people you think knew about the prophet but just didn't say nothing? At least he had enough courage to go write the paper and thank the prophet for the great work that he's doing with the Moorish guy, right? Alderman's letter, City of Chicago, Council Chamber, Louis B. Alderman, Alderman, 2nd Ward. Mr. Noble Juali, Moorish Science Temple of America, Dear Noble, your letter dated July 10th, in which I am extended an invitation to deliver the welcome address to the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America at the opening of the first annual convention to be held at Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue, on the evening of October 15th, was received during my absence from the city. I am writing to advise that I shall be glad to present on the occasion the date mentioned. Send me a program of the opening date so that I may have it before me for reference. With very with every good wish, I am yours sincerely, Louis B. Anderson, Alderman, 2nd Ward. All these people recognize Noble Juali, right? All these people. And we're playing with them, right? Some of the other, titles in here: Prophet's trip to Detroit a success. Jackson succeeds Edward H. Wright. Businessmen's Club of Detroit making progress. Big spiritual demonstration witnessed at the temple. Prophet's spirit routs enemies from the temple. Sister Davis Bay visits the prophet, reunited after 30 years. Articles, Our Dollars Make Sense, ads, Temple number 1, Mealy Eel, Temple number 2, Brother White Bay, Temple number 3, Brother Pryor Ill, Temple number 4, Lomax Bay, Temple number 5, Crombie Bay, Temple number 6, Mosby L, Temple number 7, Charles Bay, Temple number 8, Brown L, Temple number 9, Sister Whitehead L, Grand Sheik. So sisters were Grand Sheiks, just to put that out there, right? Temple number 10, Brother Pollard Bay. Temple number 11, Brother Thompson L. And the list goes on and on, just listing all the different temples, where they are. And then, you have people talking about, there's no temple in my area. If there's no temple in your area, that should tell you something. Because, again, right? Chicago, Illinois, West Virginia, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Detroit, Michigan, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Richmond, VA, Cleveland, Ohio, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Youngstown, Ohio, Baltimore, Maryland, Petersburg, Virginia, and the list goes on, right? The CAC Dry Cleaning Company, Ladies and Gents Tailoring, right? Like, crazy. How people try to deny this man and what he did and what he stood for. Freaking crazy. But it's okay, because we already know that there was a sellout. We already know that people's job was to come and undermine what the noble prophet did for his people. And again, right? Again, put it out there, nuclear beam files. Right? If you don't have it, go get it. Right? And if you can't get it, you should be asking yourself some questions if you can't get it. Right? Because, I got it from my grand chief. right? So, tell you something, right? Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali founder. Oral statements and prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of MST of A, compiled by Brother R. Love L., Grand Sheik of the MSTA, copyright 1987, registered 1988. Register? Why are you going to register oral statements of Noble Drew Ali? But leave that alone, right? Brother R. Love L., Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This introduction is written to inform the Moors and readers of the importance of the things that the Holy Prophet Drew Ali said when speaking to a group of Moors or an individual. The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a message carrier for Allah, the same as the angels of Allah. To the Moors, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is an angel of Allah, who was sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. The words that the Prophet spoke to the Moors were the messages of Allah that the Prophet brought to us. The Prophet said, "Every work I speak is spirit, and you Moors had better heed. That is regard his word regard his words with care. Consider them, give them your attention, and obey." The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali is due high honors in his station as a prophet of Allah. He is due high honor for the work he performed. He is due high honors for the suffering that he went through, that we may receive the holy and divine messages that he brought for our salvation. The things that the Prophet said are due high honor because they are from Allah, the great God of the universe. A special warning to some who have committed a gross wrong in violation of a warning from the Prophet, wherein he said, "Woe upon the one that scatters my flock." The Moors that have been in the Moorish Science Temple of America long enough, they have seen the reward of those that committed this wrong. It is not well what they have earned by their wrongful acts. Though the workers of this evil use the names of Allah and His Prophet to lure others from the true faith and path, they work but evil, and they lead astray those that also go to their harm. Religious and political issues are not an issue, and when these wrongs are committed, there is but one issue, and that is right and wrong. We Muslims, true submitters to the will of Allah, should obey Allah and His Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Prophet said, "Let me find you where I left you." This warning is plain. One should never say that the Holy Prophet said a thing unless you know it to be right. The Holy Quran of Mecca teaches that the man that tells a lie on Allah or the Prophet creates a terrible doom. That man creates a terrible doom for himself. Honor the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali and honor his works. The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, "I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself." When he said that, the Prophet was holding up a Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America and a questionnaire to show us the books we need to save ourselves with. Moors that saw and heard the Holy Prophet said that he said, "What are all these people doing here? There is only going to be a handful saved. I can count them on my fingers and have fingers left over." The Holy Prophet told the Moors, for the various lynchings and murders that were committed in the South is going to have to pay off in blood. For all those, Noble Ali said he loved love and whatever. Noble Ali didn't play around with traitors. Noble Ali didn't respect no traitors. Noble Ali didn't love any traitors. Right? Noble Ali didn't like anybody who was against his people. Noble Ali had no honors for individuals who were trying to undermine him. Right? So for us to play this game about, Noble Ali said the 5 principles of love, for truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the first principle is love, and then you got traitor sitting there telling people whatever about Noble Ali. Yeah, you ain't supposed to be showing them no love or nothing like that. I'm not saying hate them, but you don't show no love to no traitor. Go ask China what they do to traitors. Go ask Philippines what they do to traitors. Matter of fact, how about just do your research on traders and see how much stuff comes up about traders, right? People who know better, and they take the position of forget what they know. They go over there and do their own thing, call their stuff whatever they want to call it. You know, registering things that shouldn't be registered. You know what I mean? Copywriting. All this is in Mukrabin files. Copywriting the handshake, copywriting the Circle 7. Why are you copywriting the Circle 7? Right? All this dirt that Moors were doing, right? After the Prophet left the scene to try to gain some type of credibility off of his name instead of just repping him, right? Dissing CMB, who came and told the Moors everything with regard to their divine self and that manifestation coming onto the earth plane, right? Zodiac constitution and all that. Dissing him, talking about Noble Drawley kicked him out the temple and all this type of stuff. When CMB was more honorable than all these dirty Moors that are around here today, getting people's stuff stolen and all that, right, by the state, right? It's amazing. It's amazing to see that Noble Ali said things and then they're happening now and nobody wants to recognize his prophethood, right? Just like, you know, oh yeah, Islam to brother Jabbar Gainzil for excellent demonstration, right? Excellent demonstration that he dropped on Sunday. It's on YouTube. Go check it out, right? Brother J. Blakely Bey said that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, in the year 2000, the Moors will come into their own, right? Verified, right? The Moors are coming into their own in the year 2000. 14 years in, right? And Moors are coming into their own. We got our own nationality cards, right? We're standing up for our birthrights. There's Moors out there that's been had their own tags, things of that nature. You know, Moors not accepting the brands of Negro, black, colored, not falling victim to a 14th Amendment and all that type of stuff, right? So Moors been coming into their own. That's prophecy manifested. Right now, 2014, with all you 13 people out there, 100 people or whatever that's seeing this, you're a direct manifestation of the prophecy of Noble Drew Ali coming to pass in 2014, just for the simple fact that you're on this information. You're coming into your own. That's prophecy fulfilled. But nah, you don't want to recognize that. So okay, let's try another one. If the European be just, they would have an Asiatic vice president, and if they had an Asiatic president, they would have a European vice president. So past 2 terms that Barack's been in office, he had European vice presidents. So prophecy of Noble Drew Ali manifested twice in 8 years. Right? Prophecy manifested. Nah. They don't want to recognize Noble Drew Ali as a prophet. Right? They want to talk about, they don't want to hear nothing about no hadiths about Noble Drew Ali because, you know, hadiths don't mean nothing. Right? But they listen to some Muhammad stuff. They listen to some Yahshua stuff. They listen to some Buddha, some Confucius. They listen to Sun Tzu, what he said. Oh, the art of war. Yeah, anything Sun Tzu said, yeah, we'll go with that because, yeah, that's the art of war. But you're not going to recognize your own prophet? But you're going to recognize some people all over there that wasn't even around you, that didn't even write nothing for you? More of the stuff that they wrote was to take your ass out. And then your prophet's telling you something, but then you want to hear that, right? Brother Jabbar talked about this. One day, every wheel of industry is going to stop, and when they start up again, it will be in the Asiatics' favor. Right? We already told people, go read James Trafficant Jr.'s bankruptcy speech. System stopped in 1933. 1929, really. Right? System stopped. It hasn't picked back up again. They don't got no gold, silver, and all that going on right now. Right? And all these states talking about, yeah, we'll bring back the gold standard or whatever. Make sure that's gold that they're bringing back in the standard. You better have some gold testing machine or something like that to make sure that when they talk about they're bringing back gold standard, that they're not selling you some, you know, um, the Halloween gum as gold coin, right? Like make sure because they had what from 33 to now they had time to master. Just like how you can take like McDonald's or whatever. They got all these packages and packages of barbecue sauce, but it's made in a lab with a drop of some brown stuff and some white stuff that looks like gel. And then they just put one drop in there, and oh yeah, now this tastes like barbecue sauce, and we're gonna sell this. The same stuff they're doing with all that gold that they're talking about, they're bringing back, right? Because remember, go back again, go back again, watch the Noble Drew Ali Day, 2014. Rick Smith telling y'all that he's telling y'all as a European, he's telling y'all that majority of all this technology that Europeans have, they ain't get it from no Asiatics that were brilliant on the earth plane. They got contracts with some other beings out there that come here. That's how they got their stuff that they got. Right? The Holy Prophet told the Moors that when destruction comes, he was going to leave enough fine buildings so that his good Moors will be able to enjoy them. Right? Forget buildings and all that stuff. Point is, the good Moors. If there were good Moors, then that means that there were bad Moors. And if there were bad Moors, that means they're not getting none of this stuff when the destruction comes. Matter of fact, they're going to be getting some of the destruction. And like we talked about earlier, some of that stuff's going on right now. There's dirty Moors right now getting the doors kicked in by the FBI. Right now. They're probably sitting up in some, you know, Agent Smith, room, with the little thing, and then push the button, and then the little, put it in the stomach, and then send them back into the community. It's not a movie. It's real, right? Because you can't go around fronting like, you rep the prophet and then don't rep him. Because, like we said, people know who Noble Drew Ali is. We might not know because our leaders never told us the broad scope. You know what I mean? And I mean broad scope that Noble Drew Ali came to present to his people. It's like there isn't even anything that's missing. Because we read the first oral statement, I brought you everything that it takes. So he didn't leave nothing out. He didn't not finish his task. More say, well, they killed the prophet, so he didn't finish his job, and now we got to pick it up, from where he left off. We don't go there. No Jolly did everything for y'all, right? Sister M. Tiggs L. and the other Moors reported that the Holy Prophet said that Chicago, Illinois is going to be your new Mecca. Chicago, Illinois is going to be the new Mecca. Every Muslim is supposed to make a pilgrimage to Mecca. So if Mecca's not all the way over there, Mecca's in Chicago now, according to the Prophet, then that's where you're supposed to go. Why do you think El Hajj came back so mad? Because he wastes all this fiat or whatever to go all the way over there among some people who don't care about him, when he could just went to Chicago. Matter of fact, already went to Chicago, did his pilgrimage already, before he even went over there to do pilgrimage. Right? Everybody that finds out, everybody that finds out about the noble prophet and starts talking and implementing stuff, stuff happens to them. Especially if they're in the public eye and they have big mouths like Khalid Muhammad and, Malcolm, El Hajj and all these people, right? Who would talk? They're not hush mouth people, right? El Hajj was gonna expose all these guys. That's why he took them out. Khalid was gonna expose all these guys. That's why they took them out, right? That's real talk, right? You can go you can go talk to the family that's in Detroit. You don't even have to go talk to them. Just Google Detroit. Noble Drawley prophecy manifesting right now. Sister M. Howell Bay of Temple 19 in Flint, Michigan, heard the Holy Prophet say, one day grass is going to grow up in Detroit. Where there were once businesses and houses in Detroit, Michigan, there is going to be grass growing. Oh yeah, they're bankrupt, right? And then there's grass everywhere, boarded up houses and all that. Why? Because the Holy Prophet Noble Drawley told the Moors that Chicago is doomed and Detroit must go down for what they have done to I, your prophet. The Holy Prophet was unjustly arrested in both Detroit, Michigan, and Chicago during his divine ministry. Right? Why Detroit? Because David Fordell, Elijah Poole Bay took the Moorish Science Temple and made it the Temple of Islam. Right? Allah's Temple of Islam. And then they made Fard Muhammad, they made Fard Muhammad Allah, and a prophet at the same time. Right? Gaming people, having them run from their own prophet. Right? Brother G. Cook Bay of Temple 1 said that the Holy Prophet said that if you have a dream and you forget what you dreamed, to remember it, place your forehead face down on your pillow and you will remember it. So I could say I tried it, it worked actually, right? A few times, you know. Most times I remember my dreams, but a few times that I forgot, or you have little scattered things, whatever reason, for whatever reason, putting your face down on your pillow has your dreams flooding back to you, like guaranteed. Oh, I'm only telling y'all because I did it, right? All right. Brother T. Booker Bay, treasurer, said that when at a meeting where the Holy Prophet was present, that he saw 10 Arabians, 5 Turks, 2 Chinese, and 1 Japanese join the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the secretary asked the Holy Prophet, Noble Drawley, Prophet, these people have got their nationality. What should I put on their nationality card? Put Moorish American on the nationality card. Because, right? Put Moorish American on their nationality card. Why? Because the Holy Prophet made a place for everybody. Right? Remember, the prophet said, I brought you everything that it takes to save a nation, now go save yourself. Right? I brought you everything it takes to save a nation, not to save the Moorish nation. I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. No matter what nation it is, get down with the principle of the prophet and you save yourself. Whether you're Arabian, European, Chinese, Japanese, whatever. Right? Yeah, I said European. Because let me just put this out there. On Sunday, I'm gonna call her sister. Sister Dina called me from British Columbia. 70-year-old European lady. 70 years old. She heard about the prophet. And she was like, wow, you know, the Noble Drew Ali is interesting because I have a guru. This is a 70-year-old lady. I have a guru, and all the principles that my guru taught me, Noble Drew Ali teaches. 70-year-old European lady has more honor and reverence for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali than Moors with feathers and turbans on, and unconscious Moors. 70 years old. Been around the phone for an hour. It's a European lady, 70 years old, telling me about metaphysics and telling me about spiritual enlightenment and self-realization, and you know, she knew for a long time that she's connected spiritually to something, and she didn't know what it was until she heard about Noble Drew Ali or whatever. European lady, right? Prophet didn't discriminate, segregate, and pull all that crap that these people are pulling today. He wasn't down with that. He was a universal prophet, like we said, and his philosophy is universal. So don't get it twisted, right? Chapter 45, the divine origin of the Asiatic nations. Right? Asiatic nations. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. Oh yeah, Sister Dino was talking about higher self and lower self too, and she knew what was up. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. All Moorish Americans, etc. So you didn't just come for the Moors, just like Grand Sheikh, Divine Minister, Amir, whatever you want to call them, Taj Street Bay been teaching. Moors, stop playing around like you own the prophet. You don't own him. He came here for everybody that thought that their condition could be better. Everyone. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. First people. The Egyptians, who were the Hamites, and of a direct descendant of Mizraim, in Islam to Brother Mizraim. Don't forget, Blog Talk, Thursday, 9 p.m., Sons of Allah, new show with me and Brother Mizraim, and we're going to be doing the Q&A class, so we'll just put it out there just because, you know, brothers in the Circle 7 even, right? The Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese, the Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites from the land of Canaan, the Asiatic nations and countries in South, Central America, the Moorish Americans and the Mexicans in North America, Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America, all of these are Muslims. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca, beginning from Muhammad I, the founder of the uniting of Islam by the command of the great universal God Allah. So that's why right? And y'all could just, get this message to SETI or whatever. That's why, 10 Arabians, 5 Turks, 2 Chinese, Japanese, or whatever joined the temple. Why? Because they're Asiatics, they're Muslim. So they have a right to this just as much as we have a right to it. That's why U.S is selling all this stuff to China. Because China has jurisdiction over here. They might not have supreme jurisdiction, but they got jurisdiction, but they're Muslim. Ask Chinese guy what his religion is. He ain't no Christian or nothing like that. Right? And they'll tell you. If you know, they'll tell you. If you don't know, don't let these people take your head. Be careful. Because they take heads when you don't know. For all the new Moors, Brother O. Peyton Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, let all old business stay as it is, and all new business do it in your free national name. Let all old business stay that. Let all old business stay as it is, and do all your new business in your free national name. You hear him say about go to the county, go file something? You hear him say go file some paper, UCC or something like that? You hear him say, you know, anything other than do all your new business in your free national name? Why? Because you're free now. So why are you going to use a slave name if you're free? Now, don't get me wrong now. Keep in mind that we're supposed to study, study, study. When you study, 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 you realize, recognize, over, under, understand that that old name, that all the old business is in, is now going to be referred to as X relation when you use your free national name and it's connected to some old business. So, for example, you got a license, right? You proclaim your nationality today. You had a license yesterday. You get a ticket, suit, or whatever tomorrow, right? You're not going in no court talking about, yeah, my name is, Cujo, and I don't want to hear nothing about you guys talking or trying to make me straw man and whatever. You ain't talking about that. You're going to be Cujo L X relation, that name on the license. That's not your name no more. Right? And then just look up X relation, and then you'll get, and then you could go on RV Bay Publications, look up how to live within contracts, right? And you can also go to moorishguidepost.com and get Grand Sheik Nature's book on how to live within contracts. 4-page booklet or something like that, right? Full of information. Oh, and you could also get Due Process of Law 1 and 2 from Grand Sheik Nature El Bay, moorishguidepost.com, right? Sister Abra Brown L of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet told the Moors, watch the newspapers and listen to the radio. I'm going to make the European tell the truth, right? That's going on right now. I just told y'all about Sister, right? Sister Dina, right? Don't forget Brother Patrick, right? Another, quote unquote, European on the science. On the science harder than some Moors. On the science so hard that he's doing things that Moors haven't even thought about doing with regard to continuing to propel Noble Drew Ali into the future, right? He's doing stuff. European, right? And then Moors playing around. Brother B. Jones L. heard the Holy Prophet say, children, one day you're going to love me. So he didn't even care if people loved him or not. But he made sure to tell y'all, one day you will. Right? One day you will. The Holy Prophet Noble Ali said, don't worry about how you're going to be saved. It will be done in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Brother T. Booker Bay said, the Holy Prophet said, one day blood is going to flow in the streets up to a horse's brow. Right? Don't forget, a horse's head is higher than where our heads are. So that's how much blood is going to be in the streets. The Holy Prophet, which is, manifesting because, if we go to Chicago and some of these, murder capitals of the world, right? The Holy Prophet asked the Moors, how many of you can do something? He was inquiring as to how many of them could work magic. Some of the Moors stood up. The Prophet pointed his finger at them and said, I'm going to kill you all. This quote is what people try to say was CMB, and that's how they come to the conclusion he got kicked out the temple because, oh yeah, he was a Mason, he was doing magic and drawing pentagrams in the temple and stuff like that, so Noble Drew Ali kicked him out the temple. When ain't nobody's name here, and the Prophet pointed his finger at them, right? At them, not some individual. All right, watch out. When any more is going to put you in slavery. Watch out. Brother J. Blakely Bay, it will take 50 years to find out what I brought you. So 50 years. And if you are not careful, 50 years after I'm gone, you won't know that I've been here. So 100 years. It would take 100 years for the Moors to figure out what Noble Drew Ali brought. Right now we're 101 years in. And, by the looks of, what we got right here. We got 15 Moors online, viewers, right? And that's just the ones who sign in. We don't even know how many people aren't signed in that are just out there watching this, right? Question in the chat: what is the difference between Asiatics and Moors? What's the difference between Asiatics and Moors? Let's see, right? Because and no disrespect or nothing like that, but if we would just look up stuff, we would answer all these questions that we got. But we haven't been trained to look up stuff, right? We've been trained just to accept whatever, right? Now this one says Asiatic, right? Asiatic. Adjective: Asian, often taken to be offensive. Then it has hyphen, and then it says Asiatic, noun. So there's an offensive term of Asiatic, and then there's a noun of Asiatic, right? Just like there's black, adjective, and then there's blackamoor, which is a noun, right? So that's Asiatic. More. So Asiatic is, as they say, Asian, right? And more. Morisco. All right. More. Noun. Middle English, M-O-R-E. From Middle French, from Latin, Moorish. 1a. One of the mixed Arab and Berber conquerors of Spain in the 8th century AD. B. Berber. 2. Muslim. Moorish. Right? So, a more, oh, and also more, noun, an expanse of open, rolling, infertile land, a boggy area of wasteland, usually peaty and dominated by grasses and sedges. 2. More, verb, morin, akin to marin, to tie, more, to make fast with cables, lines, or anchors, to secure a boat by mooring, anchor, to be made fast. Right? More. Okay? Is Caucasian a political group because the root word is caucus? So we go to the law dictionary. Right? And this is what we're supposed to be doing when stuff comes to our mind. Just go look it up. Because guarantee you, when you look it up, you'll be brought into some understanding. Right? So you ask about Caucasian. Caucasian is a law dictionary. Pertaining to the white race, to which belong the greater part of European nations and those of Western Asia. Caucus, a meeting of the legal voters of any political party assembled for the purpose of choosing delegates or for the nomination of candidates for office. Keep in mind that caucus, let's check the regular dictionary. Right? Caucasian, of or relating to the Caucasus or its inhabitants, of or relating to the white race of mankind as classified according to physical features, or of or relating to the white race as defined by law, specifically as composed of persons of European, North African, or Southwest Asian ancestry. Caucasian, Caucasoid, caucus, noun, probably of Algonquin origin, a closed meeting of a group of persons belonging to the same political party or faction, usually to select candidates or to decide on policy. Caucus, to hold or meet in a caucus. So keep in mind as well that because of the connotative meanings of words, because of people trying to get our people, right, specifically, because of people trying to get our people to not know who they are, not have a full perspective of what words mean, etc., is why we push once again, right? It's all on RV Bay Publications, How to Study, and the Conscious State of Mind Precepts. which is why Moors take the position of making sure you have dictionaries, right? So this is relative. This is relative to how to study, right? So just like we're saying, right? Ain't nothing wrong with questions, right? There's nothing wrong with questions, right? But majority of our questions would be answered if we study. And Noble Drew Ali said, study, study, study. And when you studied and asked what to study next, I would reply, study yourself, right? So study, study, study. When you studied and asked what to study next, I would reply, study yourself. So he said, study 6 times. That's how serious studying is, right? So what you want to do, you want to have multiple unabridged dictionaries. Keep available for cross-references and for applying critical analysis. Oxford Universal Dictionary, Oxford Dictionary and Thesaurus, American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, and equivalent books are to be included. Others. Now, don't listen to these jackasses telling you about, the white man's dictionary or whatever like that. We taught the so-called white man, right? We taught him. We taught the European, right? So being that we taught the European, because you already know the Moors went to Europe, got the Moors, got the Europeans out the Dark Ages, whatever. So we taught them, right? When we go get these books, this is what we taught them. So it's not their stuff that we're going and getting their stuff, right? This has a very, very, very close relation to ourselves, right? 2, Henry C. Black's Law Dictionary of Ancient and Modern Jurisprudence. Seek out Black's Law 3rd edition and 4th edition, which are superior choices. Later editions, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, plus, are heavily edited and weakened. Book of American Jurisprudence, Terms and Phrases. 3. John Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1856, is also a primal law dictionary adopted to the Constitution and the laws of the United States and to the several states of the Union. Etymology dictionaries of the English language, Oxford and others, if available. History of words books, World Atlas, Thesaurus, a metaphysical Bible dictionary, a lexicon dictionary, World Almanac, pens, papers, notepads, books on English grammar, books on astrology. Right? So we need all this stuff. Somebody asked a question about nation of gods and earths. Right? I tell you, more we don't play around, okay? We make sure we have everything because people got questions. So why was the nation of gods and earths founded? Let's see right here, right? Now remember that Father Allah, Clarence 13X, was an NOI member, and he jumped ship because he found out the truth, right? all these guys found out the truth, right? English C lesson 1 to 36, right? I came to the wilderness of North America by myself. Speaking of W. Fard Muhammad. he implies he came as a free man of his own free will. His first appearance in 1910 is said to have come in contact with Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Temple of Islam. His second coming, July 4th, 1930. Note, it is said he proclaimed himself the reincarnation of the Noble Drew Ali. This is when he began to teach the knowledge of God here in North America. He set up his first temple in Detroit, where it said he had as many as 8,000 followers between 1930 and 1934. He disappeared in 1934. No, he didn't. He got locked up for freaking running fraud, right? And there it is right there in Nation of Gods and Earth's own stuff that Fard Muhammad came into contact with Noble Drew Ali in 1910. 1910, Fard Muhammad came into contact with Noble Drew Ali, right? And 1930 was the second coming, after Noble Drew Ali died, of course, right? And then he proclaimed himself to be the reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali, just like all these other frauds that called themselves the reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali, which is why there's all this schism and all this stuff going on, right? Because people sold out the prophet. Why did they sell out the prophet? Because Noble Drew Ali was the Moorish statesman for all of the Moors in the Americas who were under the brands of Negro, black, colored. This is Nation of Gods and Earth's book. Go ask them. Why is there a 7 and a circle, right, as their emblem? Why is there a 7 and a circle as their emblem? They just have a 7 and a circle and their emblem, right? And they're going to show pictures, Jay-Z, Carmelo Anthony, you know, yeah, we're a Nation of Gods and Earths. No, they're not, they're Moors. Don't even get it twisted. But they got circle 7 around their neck. They can play around with the Nation of Gods and Earth stars and whatever crap they want to make up, but people who study know what's up, right? And we already told people with regard to Scientology that L. Ron Hubbard, right? Remember, L. Ron Hubbard was given a parallel comparison to Noble Drew Ali by Peter Moon in Montauk Book of the Dead. So Scientology is really more science, right? Brother Jabbar put up the picture of this year Farrakhan Savior's Day speech, and he has a picture of Noble Drew Ali. First time ever that they're putting Noble Drew Ali out there. They don't put him out there like that. Smack dab in the middle of the poster for the whole world to see. The picture of Noble Drew Ali. Right? And like Brother Jabbar was saying, they got Fard and Elijah and all those guys are all far way over there. Right? Way over there. Smack dab in the middle, they got Noble Drew Ali. What do you think Farrakhan's trying to tell y'all people? You think he just, oh yeah, let's just put Noble Drew Ali's picture on there, you know, because he was one of the leaders and you know, we respect him. Crap. They can fall for that. They have to put Noble Drew Ali up now. Right? Why? Because we told y'all in the beginning, everybody who's fronting, FBI is kicking their door in. If you're fronting that you're, yeah, we're Moors and, you know, we're of the whatever and we're of the this and that, and if you're pretending, if you're playing around that you're backing Moors when you really don't have any allegiance to the noble prophet who is the founder of Islam in America, the founder. That's not what I say. Don't worry. Just wait for Ali Muhammad debate, right? We got some stuff for people. Just wait till the debate, right? We got some stuff, people. It's career ending time right now. because the Moors are back on the front burner again. Right? Noble Drew Ali is back up front. Ask Farrakhan. Right? Go ask Farrakhan. Somebody needs to ask Farrakhan the $1 million question. Hey, why do you guys put Noble Drew Ali right in the smack that middle of the thing like that? How come? All of a sudden, 2014, Savior's Day speech like that, that's their stuff. Every year, everybody waits for this speech that this man's gonna give. And then on the poster, they got Noble Drew Ali right in the middle of the poster. Right in the middle of the poster. Why are they doing this? Are they really doing this just because, well, you know, we have all these other guys here, so we're just going to put Noble Drew Ali on here too? No, that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because Noble Drew Ali is back. Right? The amount of activity that Moors have been doing, right? And let me put this out there too. 99% of these Moors wouldn't know nothing about no Moors and whatever if it wasn't for Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. Amir Taj Tariq Bey. Right? We hold that Moor in high honors. Touch him and see what happens to you. Right? Because he put in work for the Moors to be where we are right now, 2014. And all these sellouts who were taught by him, including, don't forget, you know, the naturalizers, right? Down there in Baltimore, right? All those guys got taught by Taj. Don't let them fool you that, you know, oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali's information just came into them and whatever. That's not what's going on. All these heads, Sadi El, Pleasant Bay, all these people were taught by Brother Taj Tariq Bey. Majority of them. But they're not going to call his name. Right? They're not going to give him his props. They're going to pretend like he's some renegade and then anybody who's down with him is some renegade. Right? Okay? Right. Now, there was one more question in there. Right? Again, right? Like we said, right? People asking stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with questions. Nothing's wrong with questions at all. Right? Moors, we don't duck, dodge, run away, pretend like we don't have answers. We love questions. Bring your questions, right? 101 questionnaire. Remember, we talked about it in the beginning. Noble Drew Ali, when he came to the Moors and said, I'm going to bring you everything it takes to save a nation, take it and save yourself, he was holding up the 101 questionnaire and he was holding up the Holy Quran, right? The question was, why is Friday the holy day? Question number 22. What's our holy day? Friday. Why? Because Friday is the day on which man was formed in flesh, and it was on Friday when he departed out of flesh. Here's the answer. Right in the book that, not even the book that, because we spoke about this too. There were no booklets during Noble Drew Ali's time. Everything was in the Moorish Guide newspaper because the Moorish Guide newspaper was the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today. Right? We got booklets today, but we weren't booklets back in the day during the Prophet's time. Everything was in the Moorish newspaper. Right? So, but to answer the question, right? Noble Drew Ali gave us everything that it takes to save a nation and told the Moors, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation, now take it and save yourself. That's all we have to do. Take it and save ourselves. Right? That's all. Once we take it and save ourselves, we'll realize the power of what it is. And all you new Moors, right? There's 15 people on here. You see all these people right here? Bebe 22, Crack Pit, BBB Bay, right? Who else is up on here? Amari El Bay, Cass B, right? All these Moors are Moors that are active. All these Moors are Moors who study extensively. Right? They don't play, right? They love the Prophet. They study the Prophet. They've had some experiences, right? Speaking about experiences, one before we go, another experience um, in in Sunnetter TV. Taj Street Bay are Moors and Hebrew Israelites, same people or whatever, right? Um, Brother Taj was talking about went to the store, you know, Arabian or whoever saw his ring or something like that, and you know they were talking about the Maghrib, and the guy knew what he was talking about when he said he's from Maghrib, right? Maghrib, right? So ask the Muslim, right? Told a Muslim, you know, a brother at the school, right? Goes to the mosque, wears his jalabia and all that stuff. So I asked him, yo, you ever heard of a place named Maghreb? He's like, yeah, that's Morocco. Like, all right. You ever heard of a place named Maghrib Al Aqsa? He's like, yeah, that's Morocco, the farthest west. Where's that? Here. This is a youth man, a little youth man, 18, 19 or whatever, Muslim, goes to the mosque and all that, right? Telling me that Maghrib Al Aqsa is here. Maghreb is over there. Maghreb Al Aqsa is over here. Morocco, the farthest west, right? And then you have idiots when they say Maghreb Al Aqsa, they're telling you about West Africa. Morocco's not in West Africa. Morocco's in North Africa. What are you talking about? Right? Or they'll show you the western part of a North African countries. Oh yeah, that's the farthest west. Crap. People been playing. So remember, the noble prophet. We're gonna oral statements of Noble Drew Ali. You can get it. You should be able to get it at any Moorish Science Temple of America, right? Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Should be able to get it. Any Moorish Science Temple of America. Not maybe not this particular one, but this is a Nuwapian one for those who don't know. But all right. 101 questionnaire. Should be able to get it at any Moorish Science Temple of America. Mukarrabin files. You should be able to get it at any Moorish Science Temple of America. Oh yeah, and the other book that we showed was Nation of Gods and Earths. Go talk to those brothers. Let them know in their supreme lessons, C lessons, talk about Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff. How come they don't rep him? Why they front? And how to study. Nice little booklet. You know, I don't know what the cost is, to be honest with you, but it's not. It's a nothing booklet. Like this is what it is, right? rvbaypublications.com. And remember, moorishguideposts.com. We're going to be plugging that site a little bit more, but make sure you check out moorishguideposts.com because, you know, another one of the Moors that's constantly been working, always working. You know, every time I call him, he can't even answer the phone. He's working so hard or whatever, right? Grand Sheik Nature El Bay and all the Moors in Asbury Park in New Jersey Republic. Love y'all. All the Moors online. Islam, peace, love, hotep, and all of that, because you already know all the Moors worldwide, the Moors in Barbados, UK, South Africa, Philippines, the Moors in every single state, so-called jurisdiction, right, from South America, Central, North America, of course, Islam to all the Moors in Canaanland. The 30th of the month, Moors in America, Skype with the authors of the dynamic book Moors in America. You can go on Amazon.com and get it. Make sure you show support to your own, because our greatest weapon is our press. As well, um, don't forget the debate, April 26th. We're going to go in on some Ali Muhammad, eat some Ali Muhammad, right? Ketchup and all that, right? Mustard on the side, dipping fingers and stuff like that. We'll eat some Ali Muhammad, right? I'm telling y'all, all right? And don't forget, Thursday, 9 p.m., Thursday, 9 p.m., the Q&A show with Brother Mizraim L and Kudro L. So make sure you write down your questions and all that. Whatever, anything at all that has to do with anything, make sure you bring your questions, because every time we say questions, everybody's mute. And then as soon as the show's done, phone's ringing off the hook, everybody got questions, right? So make sure you bring your questions, because that's why we're doing the Q&A show, because people don't ask no questions when the show's on. So we're bringing a show that's Q&A show, right? And also, too, tonight, 9:30, 20 minutes, so you got time, get the kettle on, get some tea, right? Blog Talk Radio, Moorish Heritage and History School, MHHS, eyes wide open. Again, to all the Moors worldwide, right? To all the Moors worldwide, get yourself a picture of the Prophet and put it on something. Put it on a shirt, put it on the wall, whatever. Acknowledge the greatness that he did, right? 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Let's close out Moors. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, noble Drew Ali, Islam, Hotep, Ashe. Peace and love. We'll see y'all next week. And don't forget, let Ali Marvin know I'm going to eat him. Let him know. Because we're done playing with these dirty Moors around here. It's cleaning house time. Islam Moors.